Hello? Anybody there? TM, guys, TM, or good night. Many of you are probably sleeping right now, but I see some celebrities in the chat. How you doing, guys? I'm in Singapore. I'm looking out at the. You should see my view. I have like a million different skyscrapers. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Maybe I can show you. Look. Can you see my? Can you see my view? Yeah, maybe not so good. Anyway, I'm here in Singapore. Good morning from Kuwait. Guten Morgen. Ryan Torres in the house. CGR, the famous one. XEN XEN is in the house. Good to see you guys. Dennis Morgan. Gunin, OG Gunin. Good to see you, brother. GM. Hello, guys. Good to see some people. It's Singapore time, so it's volume good. Thanks for feedback. Rich Energy, what's up, seniors? Good morning, good night, wherever you are. It's in the middle of the night for Europe and America. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm here anyway. I'm in Singapore, and there's a bunch of conferences here, events and meetings that I will attend. I'm super excited about it. It's Token 2049, which is the biggest crypto conference in Asia. So everyone who is something, including all the scumbags, will be here. There's also an ordinal conference. I'll go tomorrow, which will be very cool. I'm hoping to meet Domo there, inventor of the BRC20 protocol. So if you're here in Singapore, reach out. I'd love to meet Sinian's IRL. It's going to be an exhausting week, back-to-back meetings from morning to late night. The trick to survive these conferences is to stay away from alcohol. People drink so much. It's a marathon, but just stick to water. That's my strategy. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I am losing some weight. I'm on a calorie deficit. So cool that it shows. The last place it leaves is this lavendels. I can't separate from them. My body wants to keep them. But guys, even though there's so many things going on here in Singapore, there's developments that needs to continue, right? And especially the horizontal scaling. So next up is Optimism, we're going to talk about today. But before we dive into that stuff, let's talk about something very cool. Sounds like a good place for assassinations. Yeah, okay. Yes, might be. I mean, they're super strict. You know what's funny? Chewing gum is illegal in Singapore. I like chewing gum. It's something I like, but it's not allowed. I should have smuggled in some chewing gum. So it's super clean everywhere. Maybe for that reasons. So the thing is, guys, we're coming up to Zen's birthday, 8th of October. And this is the date where we deployed our first Zen contract last year on Ethereum. This is the date where everything started to explode in the crypto world. So it's quite insane how much, how fast time has gone, really, in an aspect, but also in retrospect, how much we have accomplished in a pretty short amount of time. So some OG hardcore Stenians, led by the amazing Jakov, have made the fantastic initiative to host an anniversary event in New York, in America, which is freaking awesome. I don't know where I will be in the world at that time, but I'll definitely try to come if I'm in the right continent, for sure. I think it will be a lot of fun to meet fellow Sinians. It will be action-packed. You have celebrities like Crypto Bro, Player One Taco will be there. And I think if we're lucky, even Crypto Bro can spin some records. That would be super cool. So if you want to host an event on this day in your town or village or in your country, reach out to Jakov. Jakovians is his Twitter handles. Jakov with Y and Q. Jakovians, and he can help you out with some advice. But guys, just keep it simple. You just don't have to make it super flashy or costly or whatnot. We're not. It doesn't say Solana in our forehead. You know, we don't need the fireworks. The most important thing is to meet and hang out with people IRL, which is kind of fun. So just keep it simple. Bring a container of coffee, and that's it. Meet in a park. The most important thing is to meet up. But yeah. So yes, let's deploy XEN on Optimism. Let me just switch. Let's go into Miro. Wow. There we go. So Optimism. Now, Base, as you know, is leveraging the OP stack for their chain, and we just deploy there. So we shouldn't have any big surprises for Optimism in that aspect. I'm very happy. Ryan Torres, I want to host in Hawaii. That would be super awesome. Jack is in Hawaii right now, so maybe he will show up. I don't know if he's going to be there in October. I might take that route on the way back as well. So maybe I will come to Hawaii. That would be super cool to meet Ryan Torres. He's always been a great supporter in XEN. But let's talk about Optimism. So I'm very happy that we finally go here. We've been planning to do so for a very long time, but sometimes priorities do change, as you know, but eventually everything catches up. And when they do, they catch up fast. So I know many people are very excited about Optimism as well. Maybe not so much as Crypto Profeta, but still a lot. Ethereum is working on the on-chain scaling with sharding. But as we talked about last time, scaling is also happening with these L2s that are offloading the mainnet by directing traffic to their chain. So while only settling on mainnet. So scaling is working in that sense, actually. And we're already on most of the biggest EVM sidechains. But as you know, we are now exploring the L2 rollup scaling solutions as well. And we create a presence there when we go there. And if we look at the stats for Base, for instance, I don't have them prepared right now, but you should go look at them. Rocket ship of permissionless, disruptive penetration, you can say. So we are giving users on that chains the gift of XEN, a possibility to explore what XEN is and how it feels like to interact with pure first principles, because many in crypto haven't even done it in their whole crypto lives, believe it or not. And I told you we were gonna do something crazy with it. So let's get straight into the meat of that. Yeah, actually, I want to show you this. I want to show you. Yeah. So this is Interstellar. Have you seen this movie? Because there's a scene here in where Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, I think it is, they go to this planet and they're trying to save the world or themselves or something like that. But the thing with this planet is that time on this planet passes much slower than on Earth. So with every hour on this planet called Miller equals 7 years on Earth and for the rest of their crew. So when they come back to the spaceship and meet their buddy, it's been 7 hours, but for him, it's been 23 years. He doesn't look so old though. Like he doesn't have any white hairs and stuff. Like, even I have, you know, when you're getting like above 30 and beyond, these white hairs coming out. But anyway, they've been on this planet and it's only been a few hours for them. So time has passed differently. And this concept is really called, oh, sorry guys, I didn't share the tab. So here you can see the guy. I have to switch tab every time I have to click a button. But so this concept is called time dilution. Time dilation, I think it's pronounced. So time dilation is a fundamental concept in Einstein's theory of relativity, which states that the passage of time is relative and can vary depending on an object's velocity and proximity to a gravitational field. As an object approaches the speed of light or is in a strong gravitational field, time dilation occurs, causing time to appear to slow down relative to a stationary observer. This phenomenon has been experimentally confirmed and has important implications for our understanding of space and time. So that's pretty cool. Now, why am I talking about this? Because what is Zen closely related to? It is gas, yes, but it's also time. So we have Genesis, we have an 8-year amplification effect, we have daily increasing in difficulty, right, leading into a disinflationary minting curve. We have foreverness. Can you say that? Foreverness? We have foreverness anyway. So minting will never stop. And this is why Zen is great in that aspect, because it can serve as an educational tool forever, basically. And even after 8 years, you can. So it's very closely related to time. So we have Genesis, we have daily events, we have 8 years, we have infinity, and they're all relating to each other in an aspect. But the question is, what happens if we just change things we now take for granted, how Zen works? But what happens if we just change one parameter in this code, one number in the mint formula only? Everything changes, but it's also the same, but different. So we can get something that is much shorter. So the hyperinflationary nature of Zen is compressed into a much smaller time period. So let's look at the Zen minting formula for you guys to really see what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I also wanted to show this. This is how time dilation, like you can experience time differently in space and time, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we're taking the whole life cycle of Zen and compressing it to an eighth, basically. So in the mint formula, which looks like this, which you know very well, the amp is something that RU is your reward, right? How much Zen you're getting. And if we change this parameter, the amplification, because you multiply with the amplification. So when you are initiating in mint, you're calculating what you're locking in the amp in EA, right? So you're locking in the amp, which started at 3000 and then reduces by 1 every day. So what happens if we just change one parameter in this formula? So going from 3000 to 300 instead. That's the change that we're going to do for the deployment on Optimism. So what does that mean? It means that we get a much more limited supply. It will make the supply even more scarce for that reason. The whole minting process won't be hyperinflationary anymore. So the reduction is not against 3000, but 300. So in 100 days, which is a third, you get only 1/3 of what you usually would get. So what's happening is we accelerate the disinflationary production curve in the distribution of Zen. So if you miss 1 month, you miss 10% of the amplification, and it ticks down 1 every day. So in 300 days, it's basically done. And given that there's so little Zen available, if you mint Zen on Ethereum, for instance, right now, you're getting, what is it, like 40K Zen per day or something like that, 40, 45, because you lock in that AMP and the EAA, right? We have, Jack made a tweet where he explained this very well as well. So As you know, after half the time, so in the normal case, after 4 years, you would get half of what you're getting today, roughly, because it depends on the delta rank. But here, if you go past the day 150, your mints are 50% less on day 151 than they were on if you start from the beginning. So the minting difficulty is increasing quite rapidly. So we know from before that after 4 years, you will only get 50% of what you got initially. And that's sort of a good metric to understand how fast it's really depreciating. If we go to if we look at GUI, and if we look at this in an aspect of gas now, so let's go to I want to show you this. So this is, why does it look so strange? This is Joseph, the amazing Joseph. He has created this. It's probably the best gas charts in the world, because it's so simple, but it's so pure, and it's just updating live. So you can go here on zen.pub index-gas.php. So you find it here in the section. And let's go to, he's integrated all the different chains, which is awesome. So you can see live what the GUI is. So let's go to Optimism. So we can see here that GUI is right now, what is it? Where's my mouse? There it is. The GUI is right now around, it ranges between 0.11 down to 0.7. So it's within that range. I observed it to be as low as 0.05 earlier today as well. But it's somewhere in that range. So basically, what does this mean? It means that it basically costs you nothing to participate on Optimism as it is today. So it's definitely like fair game in that aspect. It has more value. So there's less total volume of Zen created with this reduction in the amplification. So it's very disinflationary, but the actual cost of creation is very low. And it may move up based on the chain's ability, of course, to sustain the load of that ecosystem. We looked at Coinbase before we launched there. So we did a test, and 128 VMUs before launch cost 5 cents. And during the first day, it was $100. So the gas went 2000x when we launched Zen on Base. So yeah, you know how it works. And right now, I think it's we can look at Base. I think it's like 50x or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, something like that, like 50x. So it's of course reduced quite a lot, which it always does, because there's always more hype initially in the beginning of the days. But the thing is, what's going to be interesting to observe with Optimism, as with other chains, is how they are going to deal with this load when it comes to the gas. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, the question is, of course, why do we do this? Why are we doing this experiment? Like, why are we doing something radical like this? Because what it is, it's an experiment in the creation and distribution of value, the way we see it. So what we want to do is show people what happens after 8 years, but we want to see that within 1 year. So we are modeling the whole production of Zen in 300 days as it would happen in 3,000 days. So right now, 3,008 years, it's so long. It's incredibly long. And it's hard for people to realize the level of scarcity of something that is hyperinflationary and abundant for now. And what this is creating is a simulated version of the universe in the creation and adoption of Zen. So every day is like 10 days on Optimism. It's the interstellar planet we are attending, but sort of reversed than it was in Interstellar. So it's like it's a dog's life instead of human's life. And all we change is just one parameter, one number. And it makes sense to do this on Optimism as well because it's inexpensive. So the question is, can this change the narrative of the whole ecosystem? I don't think so, because Zen is also an educational project for the purpose of increasing people's self-sovereignty through knowledge. Okay, that's why we're doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And you probably heard of Zen Miner, which Jack has spun up, which is pretty cool. It's like mining Bitcoin with your computer. Just it's like being Satoshi, the way he started mining Bitcoin. So it's a fun experiment as well. Everything is an experiment. Bitcoin is also an experiment. The fiat is also an experiment, which is probably going to fail. But this is an experiment that we want to do. So it's a so basically you can say that we are here to educate people, like what happens if this happens. So, and this is also the reason why we are on all chains, because different chains already have different costs of productions. That's what makes them different on the various different chains. Also liquidity, also utility, but mainly it's production cost. So we're making this interstellar version, which makes it 10 times more scarce in the value of time. And because Optimism is extremely expensive, it's designed to be inexpensive, it makes some sense to adjust the formula there for this experiment. So all is the same, but we're just changing the time aspect. So what this will yield to us collectively is a model that we can use. Like what happens on Optimism, we can model towards all the other chains. We know the whole life cycle in a year from now, or a little bit more, because you can initiate, you can still initiate longer mints, but it's going to be significantly reduced. So in a year, we're going to have a pretty good model of how this experiment actually turns out, and we can use those things. It's sort of like an apples and oranges comparison in some aspect, but in some aspects not. So what is an apple and what is an apple and an orange? We're going to find out as well. So there's many like things we can learn from this. So it's sort of like a gift to the community. It's a bit rough in some aspects. I do realize that, but if we can't be crazy in a bear market, then who are we really? So I think the knowledge gain will be increasingly higher than any potential downside of doing this. So in aspect, it's 10 times harder to mint because you're you're getting 10 times less. But it's also 10 times faster in the creation cycle. Someone's asking, did you guys work out the claiming issue on ETH network? Yeah, we have some issues with the RPC and the Infura RPC as well, but the guys are working on it ASAP as we speak here. So I think it's going to be solved ASAP. Big shout out to Leo and Nick. These guys are super. They've been without them, nothing of this would be possible. By the way, they're just awesome. Part of the team and have been working and standing by and building a lot of code, a lot of backend stuff continuously. So we're on so many different chains. Sometimes things break, but they're very fast to fix it when it happens. So it should be up and running pretty soon. That's what they told me. But they need some time to investigate exactly what happened and when. But anyway, back to Interstellar, Optimism, Zen. Another way to look at this, which is quite interesting, is it's like a leveraged future of Zen with 10x. So we can leverage 10x without leveraging your funds. Normally, if you have a leverage position, if it drops 10x, you're going to get liquidated. But here, in a way, you will experience basically all the benefits of the upside, but none of the downside, using this leveraged future analogy. And also, let me comment on how we plan to adjust the time discrepancy for X1 and the burn records. Because we always said that if you burn for other projects, you should be rewarded for airdrops in X1. And that's still the case, of course. But given that the amount of Zen in your wallet is 10 times less, it should be worth 10 times more for X1, relatively speaking. So if you look at the Zen formula, all that's really changing is the reduction of the amp. So you're getting 10 times less per mint. And to counterbalance this, you're getting 10 times more for that burn counted on X1. So it just equalizes the distribution comparatively to other chains. It's not a boost of returns or an unfair advantage for Optimism relative to the other chains. It's just how to compensate for that reduction of mints that you're getting. So let's go back to a lot of back and forth here today. Yeah. So let's go to the very long intro, but I think it's pretty interesting. Super curious to hear you guys' feedback on this throughout this life cycle as well. So we're deploying OPZen, of course, and OPCent for Centaurant and OPSense for Senstake. And here we have the protocol overview. So we have this OPZen, OPSense, and OPSense. And OPSen be coming soon as well. As I talked about, the burn record thing, mainly for like developers if they want to build it. It's going to be deployed on all chains after we sort out the burn records for X1. If you are new to this and have no idea what we're talking about, then check out my videos on this channel for XENFTs and staking XENFTs, what they are. So just short on that, XENFTs are awesome. It's been minted 4 million times on various chains. It allows you to batch mint them. You're interacting with immutable contracts with no admin keys. They're on chain. The NFT is also completely on chain, not stored in some database. It's in your custody, which is not the standard way, basically. Like most things, most NFTs on Ethereum is stored in some database somewhere, but this is completely on chain. It's just 3 lines of code who makes up the SVG. So it's a pretty cool thing. So it allows you to batch mint Zen, and the way it works, you're interacting with Zentorrent, the Zentorrent contract that creates these VMUs, virtual minting units that in turn interact with Zen protocol and mints Zen. So it's pretty cool. And here's the rarity chart. Big shout out TPX for always doing this. Super awesome. The changes here, Optimism has the 30 million gas limit. So it's the same as Ethereum. And the VMUs are there for 100 to 128. We adjusted the burns because of this. So it's 10 times less. So to get a Sunicorn, you only need 1 billion, but it's harder to get, it's 10 times harder to get a billion as well. So it's just relative. So that's the change. The same thing is for limited. Instead of 250 million, it's 25 million. And collectors is no difference at all. Yeah. And staking NFTs is the same way with the rarity score. So awesomeness. Let's go back again. I have some tabs to show you. Yeah, perfect. We covered that. So this is what you do. You go to app.optimism.io bridge/bridge. I'll post it here in the chat for you guys. So that's how you can bridge. And on testnet, you can also bridge your girly ETH. These faucets are super annoying. I know you get like nothing for your attempt to get testnet. I think it's super annoying. I hope we can do something better with X1. We can be more we can be more generous with the testnet tokens for people to try out, because it's always like a hurdle to get these testnet tokens. But what you can do with their bridge is so Ethereum is the native gas token on Optimism. I should mention that. And there was, I don't actually know that, but they said themselves that you can use the OP token as well as gas token, but I think it's mainly just a governance token. But let's just stick to ETH. So you can bridge, of course, from Ethereum to Girly, but you can also here switch, if you have Girly ETH, to the OP Girly testnet. But CGR, what do you want to say? But it isn't fair that I have to wait longer for my ETH mints than my OP mints. My tiers keep falling. It's still the same with time. You're still minting in the same aspect. So we're just changing the app. We're not changing the time aspect at all. So it's like it. But okay, if that was what you're referring to, but if you're referring to that it's not equal with Optimism as the other chains, then it's ultimately it's what you're interacting with the chain that you want to interact with. So if you don't want to participate on OP, you don't have to. Here is also good to look at l2beat.com. So here we have value of the L2 ecosystem. So Optimism is the second biggest layer 2 on top of Ethereum, and it's an optimistic rollup that we talked about before. And Arbitrum is, of course, the biggest one in terms of TVL locked. So that's probably where we're going very soon as well on our journey. So you have the testnet explorer. I'm posting it on the link so you guys can save that. I also have it in the telegrams and the normal explorer. Here it's not so much data, but here we can see number of addresses, the growth. So they have experienced, we can see the last year, Optimism has become more and more popular, and they have a rapid growth. But we can see, sorry guys, there we go. But we can see that, let's keep this for the record. So we have just sub 10 million addresses right now. So this is going to be interesting to follow, of course. On base, it actually exploded. Yeah. And Joseph has created this awesome testnet as well. So I was going to say that it's on testnet right now. So testnet.zen.network. You can go and try it out, guys. Did you say when the launch date is? No, I didn't. Sorry, guys. It's we're tittying Friday. How do you say this? Tentatively. But so we're hoping we can launch on Friday. That would be great. But let's see, somewhere in that proximity. So let's see. I'm gonna keep you up to date. I just have so much to do this week, so I wanted to get the stream out of the way so you guys can be prepared. So works the same way as always, guys. We tried it on testnet. You can go and try it yourself if you manage to get enough girly. Here I actually have a XEN torrent that I minted the other day. So let's go ahead and claim this. Let's get some XEN on testnet. Now it's failed because I don't have enough. I don't have girly. Right. So push-ups. Let's do some push-ups. Ryan Torres, you're going to similarly wait the same time for return dates. You can always mint for shorter days if you like. Yes. You get to be in charge. You're the player one, lol. Exactly. Tentatively. Good to have the spell checks. Christopher, good to see you, buddy. No titties. No titties. Tentative. Now you're confusing me again. Scandinavia in the house. Exactly. I think that was it, guys. Do you have any questions? I don't want to go too long on this stream, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see. It's for sure controversial, but we are also controversial people. So let's see what happens. Carry on. I have nothing to say. I'm completely empty. I don't know what you want me to talk about. One question. Are you 80s or 90s? I'm 80s. 80s. 80s was awesome time. We are so fortunate as human beings on this planet in time right now. I always think this because we grew up completely analog and now everything is digital. Like all we're doing now, it wouldn't make any sense when we were kids. When I was a kid, we used to take these cassettes and record the music on radio and make mixtapes and stuff like that. But guys above the 90s, they don't understand that, I think. And these millennials, let's not go into them. How are we going to burn Zen? So yeah, we're going to talk with DBZen and Phoenix and a bunch of other protocols. That was very cool. I'm very proud of this ecosystem because Base reached out to us and like, hey, what's going on? All the metrics are going berserk. And they saw a bunch of senior contracts enter the base stage. So I think what's really cool with our ecosystem is our speed in which we can mobilize this community and go to a new chain and establish a presence with the whole ecosystem. So you have the L1, or in this case the L2, and then we're an L2 protocol on top of that, and then we have our L2s on that. So it's just like a hyperstructure, and we're coming in and boom, we have an ecosystem right away. So so I think that's very cool. Like imagine in a year if we can deploy on a new chain and we come with 10 different Zen protocols at once. That would be awesome. So it was funny to see it based because it also creates this exciting thing. So you have Zen, you have XENFTs, you have DBZen, you have Phoenix. So it gives the whole community, which is growing and growing, a lot of different opportunities to participate in whatever protocol you want. Are we going to use the OP token for minting? No, just bridge ETH. and that's what you will be using. So you're using bridged ETH. I think there'll be a huge rush. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Like it's also like what happens in this case when we're changing the AMP with the community perception. It was community ideas initially. There was a bunch of people who said we should try this out. Ryan Torres, 82. Awesome. Did you study com? I have 2 masters actually, one in finance and one in engineering. First I was a college dropout, but then I went back to school because I really wanted to learn. Pagers. I never had a pager actually. I didn't do that. Yeah, I did probably just for a short time. Imagine now when we have this versus pager. Nokia. I had a Nokia phone. You know, the brick. It could survive anything. With this iPhone, it breaks just if you look at it. Will DB and Phoenix launch at the same time? I actually don't know. I hope so. That would be awesome. So I think Jack will reach out and ask, but that would be amazing. So yeah, guys, time's running away here. How are you doing otherwise? What are you excited about? Thank you, Globetrotter. Yes, always do push-ups. I work out pretty much every day right now. I'm feeling great. Energy levels are on top. Testosterone levels, all the different kinds of levels are on top. I'm feeling hungry. GM. Yahoo Messenger. Did you have ICQ? Do you remember Eyeball? That was insane. That was crazy. For those who remember, I'm not gonna explain here what Eyeball was. Good morning, Will. How you doing? Yeah, ICQ I used a lot. I got hacked once. I was freaking out because I got hacked and my computer went all matrix. It went all black, and then someone just reached out and say, "Hey, I hacked your computer. How you doing?" It's the first time I got hacked. It was pretty cool. Is Phantom Fork still the X1 platform? Should I practice the developing on Phantom? Yes, I think we are pretty confident that we're going to go with a fork of Phantom with our own customization. So we're going to produce a new DevNet pretty soon and try out some different parameters. It's our chance right now to really choose the infrastructure and do so well. So, yes, I had a Game Boy. Hell yeah, I used to bring it everywhere. Good night, Joe. I'm excited to learn more about this dog speeds and lifetime with optimism. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a model that we can compare and say, like, see what happened to optimism. It's going to happen to this chain as well. GM Joshua, so cool to see so many people here. I thought everybody would be sleeping at this time. Imagine getting all the seniors to one chain, X1. That would be the dream. It will be incredible. We're doing stuff nobody else did before, and it's pretty smart because we have mining factories on all these different chains, and there's an incentive for everyone who burns on any chain to come to X1. There's a financial incentive. So they're going to come naturally for that reason, because they want to come and see what we're doing on X1. And we're also thinking about getting great incentives for developers, because developers, it's very hard for developers in this Zen ecosystem in that aspect. It's very easy in the sense that you don't have to source funds from VCs. And right now, it's very hard to raise capital, like FYI. Compared to how it was for like 2 years ago. But there's also a trade-off in doing that, and a lot of that capital you're using for getting listed on centralized exchanges, which suck in themselves, but you need the liquidity and you need the exposure, and you also need that capital for marketing. So we sort of have a solution to circumvent all of that, but still developers and creators are making huge sacrifices to make things work. So, and we need ways to attract developers from other ecosystems. So we want a lot of builders, we want a lot of things happening on X1. So if you can give them the developers the gas optimization, like gas distribution to the deployers of the contracts, then I think that's going to be a pretty cool incentive. Nobody's really done that to the extent we want to do. Phantom is doing it, and they've tried doing it as well, but we want to go a bit more extreme with that. So that's going to be pretty cool, I think. So it like the least thing that's going to happen is going to be a super cool experiment for sure. Guys, even you 80s will not beat 69. It's cool. It's cool with our ecosystem too, because we have everything from millennials to like really old timers. For if I can I call a 69er an old timer? I think so. For foreseeable future, I think 300 amp and 30 amp terms will help with any new chains and ecosystem launches on. Yeah, 30 amp is a bit crazy, even for us, maybe. You're all geniuses. We're so early. 41 people in the live, bro. We're potentially can be millionaires in the making. I hope so. Like, I hope it's an educational project and all of that. But every human being wants to make their life better. I mean, if you don't, there's something wrong with you. So I think with time, we have a system that's going to be improving people's lives, even though it doesn't look so in the price chart right now. But undeniably, the network growth is getting a lot stronger. So old-timer Zeno G, Marek Kogut. Yes, I've seen you around for a long time. Good to see you, Marek. Yeah, guys, it's been over a year since we started talking, and the way we launched Zen is also pretty cool. It was Jack's idea, and the first version of the white paper came out, and we created the community right away. And when we launched Zen a few months later, we had a huge following and a huge community already, which was pretty cool. So at launch on the 8th of October, we had 16,000 concurrent participants, unique participants in the launch of Zen, which is pretty cool. So I think you could say it's the most fair launch ever that we have. Are you in Europe now? No, I'm in Singapore. Look, I'm here for, look at the intro. There's skyscrapers everywhere. I can't twist my computer because there's so many. Well, maybe I can. Okay, let's try this. We're doing it live. I was muted. I was just saying that it's pretty cool with the. Sorry, guys. it's pretty cool with the skyscrapers. Where I grew up, there were no skyscrapers. And Singapore is super small. It's just like a city, and it's its own country. It's on the south of Malaysia, and Singaporeans are super nice people. So it's pretty cool. Pretty excited to be here. I've been here before, but it was like 20 years ago, and there was no crypto conferences around. Yeah, Malaysia next. Do we have any Malaysian Malayans in the chat? So guys, also go to Jack's Twitter and check out Zen Miner. It's a crazy experiment that he came up with. Basically, what it is, it's like you're mining. You're using the same Bitcoin script, you can say. So you're running a miner on your computer, which is basically an exact copy of Bitcoin, and you're looking to match and discover. It's a treasure hunt to discover XEN 11, which needs to be. It's a hash that has a length of 64 characters, and you need to run this script on your computer to find the XEN 11 hash sequence, which can be anywhere. So it's pretty cool. Like just in a few days, there's like 300,000 blocks created. Thank you very much. Good to see you guys. Challenge is great. I have to work in corporation. Yeah, exit corporation. Thank you very much. Team is great, and you've achieved in a year is incredible. Shepuba, what does that mean? Thank you very much. I think we as a community have achieved a lot of cool stuff. Pretty excited. Bartosz Wojtasik, hi from UK. Are you Polish, Bartosz? There's a lot of Poland was like super fast for some reason to enter Zen, and created like a huge presence in the Zen community, which is awesome. Yekshimesh. I love Poland. I've been there many times. Polish are like probably, they don't agree with it themselves. The Polish people say themselves that they are crazy, but the Polish people I've met have been probably, yeah, one of the most kindest people I met. Vileo, I'm from Poland. It's French. It's French. Hats off head. You know why the French only eat one egg for breakfast? Because one egg is enough. Every French hates that joke. ZenGTP says that Zen on multiple chains will reach parity due to Zenify. That's true. So I think, yeah. So Zen lives now on various different chains, and the production costs are always going to be different. So the value of Zen on each chain is always going to be different. But what's interesting is if ultimately it's your value and you want to be able to move your value wherever you want. There's very few arguments to come up saying why that shouldn't happen. And now the possibility of doing this is getting more and more near. So very interesting to see what Zenify is doing, guys. If you ever want to swap on any chain, go to Zenify. Is it zenify.com or .io? Zenify.io. Yeah. I spoke to their team yesterday. They're working super hard, and they made a new partnership with Li-Fi, which is pretty cool, recently as well. So these guys are super cool. I hope I can do a stream with them probably next week. On this Thursday, I'm gonna probably do a stream with Zen.game with Ludwig, because they're launching very soon as well. They've been working very hard. So watch out for that. Hope I found the time to do it. Probably on Thursday, yeah. But anyway, reaching parity. What's cool because we're talking to Layer Zero, and I hope I can meet Irene this week as well from Layer Zero, head of strategy at Layer Zero Labs. Because with OFT technology that we want to try to implement on another L1 that we're talking to, that is possible. So then you can land on one chain, borrow another. So it lets you move your Zen on one chain to another chain, which is awesome. I made a stream about that. Trying to free myself from the rat race with Zen. It's all a matter of time. Yes. Tjena Kristoffer. Min norske gutt. Hi from Canada. Keep up the good work. Can't wait for Token Factory. Any updates? Yes, we are very close with it, but ZenGTP has priority. So as you know, we're working on multiple things at the same time. What is Token Factory? Token Factory is a very simple thing. It just allows you to just like with BRC20s, you can, with a few inputs, create a token and distribute it and have a Zen auction for that token. So it's pretty simple. And then there's some few additions as well that we haven't talked about. But in terms of self-sovereignty and giving power back to the individual, it's so simple, but it's so important, I think, because it gives power to an individual without having to. So first you had the state that had monopoly on issuing currency. Then developers made it possible to issue our own currency. First up was Satoshi Nakamoto, did it in a big scale with Bitcoin, of course. And then we had Vitalik, who gave us the possibility with the programmable money, so not any developer could do it. This is the next generation where any individual can just launch a token. So you don't have to be a developer to create your community if you want a token for whatever reason. It's sort of like websites. It's a good analogy. Like 99% of all websites doesn't have to be that complicated. You just need a logo and address and tell and explain your value proposition. So most websites today are basically made with WordPress. Like a large part is, because you don't need any developer knowledge to create a website, and it's super simple to do it. There's a bunch of others, but WordPress is by far the biggest. So, and there's like 1 to 2 billion websites. It depends on how you count. So this is sort of like similar, like, because there's many analogies between internet and sites and all the Web2 stuff with Web3 stuff, in that sense that all we're doing is creating value distribution, how you can decentralize distribute value, how you can create a token, how you can distribute it. So that's basically it. Nakamoto Crypto, any time frame on Optimism minute? Yes, Friday, we think. Nakamoto has an awesome YouTube stream. Go check him out. He's an awesome vibe. Is Zen block mining just a testnet thing, or is this the real version? To be honest, I have no idea. Go to Jack's Twitter, join the Telegram group. To be honest, I haven't even done it myself because I've been super busy. But I'm gonna try to do it tonight. But you're mining blocks, and Jack's having a lot of fun with it. He's just he's just having new crazy ideas, and then he just goes with them, which is the beauty as well. Like, I think we must accept that we have that innovation within our ecosystem. Even though we have a bunch of things, sometimes things get deprioritized or reprioritized. But all in all, just zoom back to a year, we're moving towards the same direction. And if we stop innovating, then we become obsolete. So we need to embrace that innovation, and we need to let Jack be free and create a bunch of crazy cool stuff whenever he has ideas, because I think it's one of our biggest features, that we have a community which allows for innovation at some expense always, but it's important. So I'm not really sure where he wants to take us, but it's undeniably super cool. Zenify and Stella are for me the best. Yes, Zenify is awesome. Lady Degen, GM. All right, guys. I gotta go. Let's do a small recap, shall we? So, yeah, we're deploying on Optimism tentatively on Friday. And the only difference is that we're reducing the amp. So it's going to be different in that aspect. But the amp is going to be 300 instead of 3000. The native gas token, and that means that you're going to get 10 times less. But the whole life cycle is going to be let Jack the mastermind work his magic. Exactly. But the whole life cycle is going to be 1 year. So it's going to be a very interesting case study on Optimism, what happens. The native gas token is you bridge ETH to interact with the contract. Go to testnet.zen.network, try it out right now. Yeah, let's see how it goes. We want to see how that experiment goes. We also want to see how Optimism goes. And eventually we also want to go to Arbitrum, of course. And then we have a pretty good like basis for like the L2 scaling, where we like accumulatively I can't say these words, where we can compare these chains with the EVM sidechains that we're on. So it's all very interesting. I mean, these things give us, believe it or not, a lot of good insights in the creation of X1, like a lot, because we sort of have knowledge of how they react in a normal case, but also in the edge cases. So when we're creating X1, we can be prepared for all those edge cases and optimize for what we think will be an optimal environment in time as well. So it's pretty. We've done like pretty rigorous due diligence, like probably more than any other L1 when it comes to from the chain perspective. Is there going to be a Shibarium launch, and what about Sol? Yeah, so Shibarium's super new, and they have a huge community, right? So for that aspect, it would be awesome. But they're also like super new. We don't want it to be a Dodge chain situation where they potentially are gonna censor Zen. So we're keeping our eyes on it. What about Solana? Solana is it's not an EVM, right? It's Rust. So there's two options. It's either to rewrite the Zen contract in Rust, or it's using their Solidity. I forget the name now. And actually, I haven't heard so much of many people using it. If it's even like the same thing with Cardano, they have what's it called? Milkomeda is their EVM Solidity compatibility solution, how to bridge Solidity to Cardano network. Cardano has huge network as well as Solana. But Solana has like completely died. Cardano is just chugging along. I'm a huge fan of Charles, to be honest, and Vitalik. and this animosity between them is very interesting. This Ethereum versus Cardano. It's going to be very fun to see the narratives. Again, what we succeeded in our network is not having this chain tribalism within our community, which I absolutely am super proud of. Neon, yes, thank you. Neon, it's called. So we should definitely go, but we sort of have had a priority of the EVM for now. But definitely, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't go there as well. And it would be kind of cool, I think, if you can go to a place like Cardano, which has pretty cool tech. Like there's some pretty hardcore developers in that ecosystem, undoubtedly. If we could be a protocol that sort of bridges the Cardano EVM worlds and really puts Cardano to the test, that would be something that's very interesting, I think. But yeah, let's see. Create a great space in crypto, incentivizing learning. Yes, it's education. I believe that it's like with anything. You just need to give people a little bit of confidence and a little bit of understanding, and you can do amazing, great things. So, like, I think everyone in this industry just wakes up every day and gets daunted. I do it every morning. Like, there's so much information, and with time, you got to filter out what are your sources to get the best kind of information. But finding the best educational sources is so important, and this is why we wanted it to be an educational product, because ultimately it's about self-sovereignty for individuals. So if you can give self-sovereignty to the individual, and you have a whole collective with a decentralized economic layer, then and individuals who know and who have the confidence to build stuff, you're getting into pretty like strong. You have a pretty strong community. It's like we have having our own nation in a way. So we've done pretty much, if you look at it, like to remove the centralized power that we do have, that founders inevitably, or founding parties inevitably do get, because we don't want us, also for many reasons, but you don't want us to be a weak point in the system. Like, I could basically move, I could basically stop with this right now, right away, and some people would love that. others would miss me, maybe, but it doesn't matter. You want to build something where you don't have any dependencies, where you're building up a network that can sustain itself. So you have to create inceptive ideas that can replicate. And with that, guys, have an awesome day. Let's spank Optimism, okay? Let's spank them hard and nice, and just want to say you're doing great things, gonna help a lot of people. Oh, thank you, so sweet of you. Don't get enough credit. Yeah, I get a lot of credit. It's okay. It's you have to deal with a lot of FUD, but you're also getting a lot of nice compliments like this. Oh yes, there's F1. Damn it, there's F1 in Singapore right now, and I have so much to do. And I looked at the prices. It's pretty. I've never been to F1, but I love Formula One. I love race cars in any kind. I love to drive them more than anything else. But it is F1, and I would love to go. It's quite expensive, but I hope I can find time. That would be awesome. I think it's like they have a 3-day thing, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Have an awesome day. Yes, buddy. Let's see you around. Let's Will Smith Optimism and the like button. Exactly. Awesome team podcasts are highly educational. Another project brought more adoption to crypto. Thank you very much. I hope we're doing something right. And guys, if you haven't seen Maxim's stream with Jack the other day, it was probably the best one of Jack, top 4 at least that I've seen. And Maxim, what a star! So good, such a good interviewer. Big shout out to Maxim. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you have seen it again. Yeah, hope to see more streams with Maxim and Jack. That was awesome. My hobby is rallying. Awesome. Yeah, let's go rally. Are you in Poland? Next time I'm in Poland, let's go rally. My cousin was Swedish champion in junior champion in rally, so I used to go with him on some smaller races. Super cool. It's like super fast. First time you're reading the map, right? So it's not actually a map. You're reading some coordinates on a monitor in front, and then you have this chart which says like you're supposed to read the distance, and then you say in 300 meters strong right, rocks on the outside. I don't know what it's called, in a co-driver basically. But the first time I was driving with him, I was so focused on my notes and he was stepping on it, boom, and I was so shocked, and he was like, hey, give me the notes. But yeah, rallying, I do any kind of motorsports basically. I like motorcycle, motocross, enduro, ATV, mini moto, super fun. If you have some friends who like motorsports, my best advice in life is get a couple of mini motos. You sit on them like this. You have your knees up to the ears, and then you go to a go-kart track or a parking lot or whatever, and you race. It's hilarious. They don't cost as much either. You can get one for like $200 or something like that. Read the notes made on a Recce before the event. Yes. Yeah. Jet ski is super nice, of course. Anything that is fast. Anything that's fast. Fast chains, fast engines. What more can you want in life, guys? All right, I'm gonna stop now. Have an amazing day, guys, and see you in the metaverse. I'm going to the streets of Singapore now, and rocking out with my little Johnny out. Over and out.